Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I'm just seeing, I'm just seeing Ulrika. So Ronry, Mr. Ronry. Oh dear, how are you? We're certainly getting cancelled.
Oh no, it happened again. What did he just say? I guess it's time to say goodbye. We're getting canceled today.
Dear, oh dear, oh dear. How are you guys? Welcome back to. What? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show, guys. I hope you're all happy and healthy doing the things you love. With loads of love to do them with. It's Sunday. Happy Sunday. It's obviously midnight where Ulrika is. Ratatata. Haven't seen you guys for at least, I don't know, 24 hours. We've got some things to talk about. We have to talk about Micky van der Ven. Micky van der Gen. He's done it again. We didn't score a worldie, but it was close, and we have to talk about this. And I've got to show you some of the reactions. I sort of reposted this thing on Twitter and said something pretty sincere. And I thought it was a no-brainer. I was expecting there to be no pushback, but actually, nearly all of the comments were pushbacks, saying that, you know, I'm a donut essentially for thinking that we should be utilizing Micky van der Ven's skill set. So we're going to talk about that. I don't know what we're doing here. You know, if we're worried about someone's hamstrings to the point where Micky van der Ven should never be ever asked to stretch his legs, never ever be asked to utilize his number one skill, which is his pace, for fear of an injury. And I get it. I do get it. But like, has the Thomas Frank risk-averse ecosystem, is it penetrating into the minds of some of the fan base? What are we doing? If you take away Micky van der Ven's pace, what is he? You know, he's a very mediocre defender if he didn't have the pace that he had. You know, he's good at slide tackling. He's very, very average positionally, aerially. You take that stuff away, you take away his pace. People fell in love with Micky van der Ven because of how he was our get out of jail free card in a suicidal high line for Ange Postecoglou. We don't play that style. We don't play that style of football anymore. We don't use that high line anymore in that regard to the same extent. And so, you know, what are we doing? What are we doing? To me, if you've got someone that can do what he can do with the ball at his feet, I'd argue in this particular system, it's the best part of his game, his ability to break the line. Because you need people, especially in a footballing world that has moved towards essentially 75% of the Premier League doing man-to-man team press. It's difficult to break that press. It's very difficult. If they're well organised, you have a few ways of doing it. And one of them is to get someone, as soon as you break the first man, that man-to-man press falls apart, because then the next guy has to lose his guy to come and cover the guy who already got beat. And you either do that with physicality, you either do that with winning the individual duel, you either do that with clever 1-2s, or you go over the top, you draw people out of position like what James Maddison used to do, and then you go over the top. Or you just have a guy that can just run past you and Micky from the back. And Micky van der Ven can do it. And he's shown he can do it. He can do it. He did it against Manchester United. He did it the other day against Copenhagen. He did it for Holland as a left back. So I put out a video and I put out the tweet, saying it's almost like questions have to be asked of Thomas Frank if he's not going to, at some point very soon, figure out a way to utilize this. figure out a way to recognise that we don't have a midfielder that can pass as well as Christian Romero can. Some of our best assets are with the ball, believe it or not, are in our defensive line. But you have to shake hands with the reality that you can't ask people that are in a back four, the left-sided centre-back in a back four, to do that. You can't really ask him to do it. He did it against Copenhagen, a little bit unorthodox, but what an unbelievable goal. Puskas winner, probably. Although there's been a couple of other superstar goals as well. One of them from a corner, the most driven corner you're ever likely to see. It wasn't a curler, it was just driven like a punch shot in golf. Just stayed low and driven to the edge of the box, and then the guy, I forget what team it was, the guy who's on the receiving end just volleys it top bins at like 80 miles an hour. Absolutely insane. But I would imagine that he's going to win the Puskas. So you have to utilise these things. If you haven't got a passing midfielder that can progress the ball, which we don't, and we can't have until January, and you're getting all these injuries in the front line, and you've got 11 injuries you have to nurture, and there's a lot of frustrations and progression issues, and people that want to defend Thomas Frank, he can do no wrong, are saying we can't do anything else, and people that want to criticise him are saying we can, you're just choosing not to. And I'm sure that there's like a grey zone, right, where everyone, the truth sits, which is maybe he doesn't trust the options that he has to ask them to do more, but also he doesn't trust them enough that he should be able to trust them more than he can to be able to do things that we're not currently doing. And he won't last. Like, he'll get hounded out of Tottenham if we continue to play this style of football for too much longer. I know people are saying it's 3 or 4 months, give him a season. Listen, the fan base will not tolerate this football for the rest of the season at home. No chance. They will hound him out. They'll tolerate it when we win playing that way, but they will boo from the rafters if we continue to play Haramball for the rest of the season. So you have to figure out a way to do it. And the solution doesn't have to be, and it can't always be, which is what Danny Kiriakou and that was saying on Spurs 5 on Thursday night, better players. It can't always be that. And by the way, you're not going to get like 6 better players in January. You might get 1 or 2 on loan, maybe. In Dream World, you might get 2, probably 1. So like the solution has to be found within what you have. Contextually, of course, applied. That there's injuries, and some of those injuries will come back at some point. Decky will come back. I also think that once you get Kota Takai back on the bench, back up, ready to be able to play, and also Radu Dragusin, then there might be the ability to go to a back 3, which does allow for Micky van der Ven to play a little bit more promiscuously, and also Romero to be able to maybe step into the middle of a back 3, step out to be the DM, etc., be able to launch the passes. All those. There's a lot of options that could come from playing a back 3, especially if you see Pedro Porro playing at right wing back and Destiny Udogie, etc., playing people as they were meant to be played, as they built their careers around. There's lots of value in playing the back 3, but for some reason people think that that what we're doing is the best that we can do, and I don't subscribe to it. So I want to show you the video that I'm talking about, and I want to show you the tweets and the replies and things, because I was surprised. The video only got like the post only got like 20 likes. I almost got ratioed. There was like 15 responses or whatever saying, "What are we doing here, mate? You want to like destroy the guy's talent?" And I was like, well, I'm trying to utilize his talent. Anyway, let me find out what people are saying in the chat. Big up to you. There's 175 people here in the first few minutes. Great to see it. Actually, it's been 9 minutes already. Jesus, what an opening rant. Wowzers. Smash the like button for me, guys. Smash the subscribe. Let's see who's in the house. Ulrika says, I hope the theme of this isn't criticising Frank for using VDB as a left centre back rather than left back. I doubt that's Sean's style. Oops. No. No. I'm not criticising anyone. I'm just saying that he's got to play left-sided centre back 100%. Right now he does. But when we get some players back, if Radu Dragusin is fit to go on the bench, hopefully Kota Takai isn't too far away. Once you have the ability to have, once you've got 4 or 5 options of centre backs, then you can't avoid the conversation about going to a back 3. You can't avoid it. And again, this notion of like back 3 is defensive, it isn't if you use it correctly. And I think there's skill sets and talents that we have within our defensive line that should be utilised more with the ball than they currently are. That's all I'm saying. Big up to you. Big up to Ulrika car with a super sticker train. It's straight out of the traps. Straight out of the traps. What's she saying? Choo. I hope you are okay, Ulrika. Thank you very much indeed for your support. Appreciate you, miss. Appreciate you indeed. Is that an internet first choo-choo train before the host joins you? When did you send all these in? This is before I arrived, wasn't it? I'm so Ronry, Mr. Ronry. I have nobody to call my own. I haven't got my number 2. Let's get into the show and say, Jaden Bates, recall Luca and play a back 3 in Jan if you want to maximise what your swing from VDV. I don't think he's going to be called back. We did a video on this the other day. Like his commentary was like, when asked, he goes, "I'm really happy at Hamburg. You know, I like it. They look after me there." Obviously, his brother was like a bit of a cult hero because I think he was banned and they stood by him. But when he was asked about Tottenham, he's like, "Oh, what, Tottenham? Oh, yeah. They call me. It's kind of like someone that's moved out and they're kind of forgotten about their parents or whatever. You know, they finally left the nest and they're happy in their new digs at university. And then sometimes, do you ever speak to your mum and dad? Oh yeah, I speak to them. Yeah. They follow me a little bit. I don't know. You've got to be careful with that one because the way that he said it, it kind of sounded like he was sort of Hamburg's. This Hamburg's my home. No. You're renting Hamburg, bro. Your home is back at, HQ. So I don't think he'll come back in January. No chance. But I do think that we can play a back 3 with Radu Dragusin. And I do think also we can play a back 3 if you have a Dragu and also Ben Davies that's fully fit. It can come back in just to be on the bench in case something goes wrong, in case there's an injury, in case the worst would happen, that is Micky van der Ven does get an injury. But by the way, I'm not advocating that every time Micky van der Ven gets the ball, we task him to play like prime Bale. It's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying utilize the skill sets that you have. And we don't utilize it. And I'll show you the chat in a second. Let me just finish. Finish off saying to some people here. Big up to you, though, Jaden. Big up to you, Marky. Has Micky just scored for Holland? He didn't score, but he. It was a. I'll show you. What a start! Yeah, we got off to a bad start, didn't we? Cancelled again. Afternoon, Alan. Good to see you, mate. Afternoon, Tom. Good to see you. Bale was left back before he became a monster. This is VDV's path. Yeah. It's not often that I agree with the geezer from TalkSport. Why can't I think of his name? Jamie O'Hara. I don't often agree with his takes, but I respect the fact that he's a passionate fan. He's a fan, isn't he? Really, he's a fan in just in a more professional environment. Big up to you, Clay. Is he getting better at heading? Exactly. This is the point, right? People are like, no, we'll just use him as a back 4 centre back. We'll just use him as that. We don't want to stretch his legs. Don't want to take the risk. If you're not taking a risk, you're taking a risk. It's very average. Ricky, you're going to get me banned. Shawnee, are you watching the same VDV you're watching? I don't know what VDV you're watching, Phil. The one I'm watching is a geezer that can that has got a little bit of confidence in him now that he wants to just take players on. That feeling that he got from doing it against Copenhagen. He did it against Manchester United and he whipped the ball into back post Johnson, who tucked it home. Was it last season or the season before last? I forget. Away at Old Trafford. Unbelievable. Gary Neville was like, gee whiz. It's unstoppable. And in a game that is becoming bigger, stronger, faster all the time, you've got to utilize these things. Obviously, you have to manage him. Yes, he's got bad hamstrings. Yes, you don't want to pull it. And yes, that does expedite, encouraging him to do that sort of thing does expedite the chance of those things happening. But those things can happen any time. Like if you've got a dodgy hammy, it's going to go anytime. Also, he's not sprinting at 100%. He is not sprinting at 100% when he's carrying the ball. No chance. He's sprinting 100% when he's running back to goal, trying to clear a problem because he hasn't got to carry a ball. When you're sprinting and you're also dribbling at pace, it's more like 85%. But his 85% is still faster than the vast majority of people's 95%. So I don't see it being the same. It's not the same as him like sort of You know, have you seen that video of that really muscly guy who's like, he's just standing on the spot, moving his legs, but it looks like he's sprinting on a video. Have you seen that guy? He looks, it's fantastic. That Micky van der Ven is not sprinting at 100% when he's carrying the ball at his feet. He isn't. You couldn't, because you have to adapt to where the ball is when it gets towards your feet on the next kick, right? But anyway. Let's find out. Any rabbit hole ramblings going on tonight? Maisie, yeah, I was supposed to do one on Friday night, wasn't I? I apologise. I do apologise about that. I had some phone calls from the doctors. I got rushed into ENT and things, so I was a little bit distracted, so pulled the plug on it. But we're definitely going to get it back soon. I haven't spoke to Nikos today. If Nikos can't make it, I really enjoy them, so I'm going to try and do one tonight. If he can be there, if Eugene can be there, if anyone else wants to come on, they're more than welcome. We're just having a bit of a fun sort of jolly. So we're definitely going to do that. By the way, do smash the subscribe on Rabbit Hole Ramblings. You can see the down here. You can see it if you type into YouTube at Rabbit Hole Ramblings, or just search for the Rabbit Hole Ramblings. Then you'll find us. Big up to you, Reese. Says less risky to do it all in a 3-4-2-1, possibly, Sean. Exactly. That's my point. You can place him at left back. You can put him at left back, but then we don't have a left-sided, left-footed centre back anyway, right? So you can't. Let me for those of you that are going, what's he going on about? Let me at least show you the video. Let's start with that. I'll come back and say that to people in a second. I hope I'm not going to get copyrighted for this, but fuck it. Let's do it anyway.
Nu Van de Ven wel op tijd erbij om te voorkomen dat de bal echt voorkomt en dan rennen met de bal. Ja, dat kennen we. Dat kennen ze in Engeland sinds die geweldige...
In fact, you know what I need to do? Get rid of the... I'm pretty sure let's start it again. You might have to. I might have to cut that bit out because that's going to be the copywritten bit. I think the commentary. Let's do it again. Yeah, I've definitely fucked myself. Whatever. Let's go. So this is him turning like an absolute beast, getting into like I'd say fourth gear. Maybe he's sprinting there. He ends up getting fouled. Takes a heavy tackle, a heavy landing, yellow carded, right? But it's just it's prime game. It's Bale-esque. It's Bale-esque. It really is. It really, really is. Now, people saying, I'll tell you what I did, right? This is what I did. So I said, it's on the screen, isn't it? Yeah. So I said, if Frank doesn't design a system that allows Van der Ven to be utilised in this capacity more often, then serious questions have to be asked. He can't do it as a centre-back in a 4. So either play a back 3, and again, not enough letters in the tweet to be able to explain why we can't do a back 3 just now. But when Dragason's fully fit, when Kota Takai's back, when Ben Davies is back, we can possibly take that risk. Or get a top left-sided centre-back in January and move him to a left-back if they wanted to play a back 4. Not every time, but in certain scenarios. All I'm saying is that there's a tool there that we're not able to utilise, playing him as a left-sided centre-back in a back 4. Because if he does get picked off when he tries it, and occasionally he will, he got picked off against Chelsea, remember? And that's what led to the goal. He tried it again against... what was our last home game? What was the last? Oh, Man United. He tried it against Manchester United and got picked off, but it didn't come to any problems. But I was screaming at the on the watch long. I was screaming at the camera saying, "You can't do that in a back 4. You can't do it in a back 4. Not if you're left-sided centre back. Not if you're countering the press. Sorry, the risk reward isn't there. Yes, if it works out, it's insane, like it did against Copenhagen. But against Premier League teams, if they pick you off in the first moments of you trying to do that, and people will be aware that you're going to try and do that a bit now because you've done it a few times. My point is that there's something to exploit. There's a so I play a lot of poker, right? I play a lot of poker, and exploitative poker is not the same as game theory optimal. Game theory optimal is kind of like what we're playing right now, which is playing the card Is playing by the book, right? Like you're setting up a certain way, and you're not worried so much about taking advantage of the opportunities that present themselves. You're playing your system, your style, and you're trying to optimize it. Exploitative poker is the opposite, and sometimes when you get a good heads-up match, you have a good game theory optimal player against an exploit specialist, and an exploit specialist is looking for tells, reading the opposition. Essentially, the cards don't matter. You're just trying to see whether or not the guy's giving you signals, or whether you figure things out that you can take advantage of. And I think that we have an opportunity to exploit with Micky van der Ven. I really do think we do, but you can't not exploit the weapon more often. You have to get advantage. You have to get on board it. Let's have a look at the responses I got. So he only got like 25 likes, which is fine. But he got 10 comments. Sounds mad. This might be the first ever time a team is built around a centre-back. And I liked it because I thought it was funny, but now I realise he was actually having a little dig, saying, what we do in building a team around a centre-back. I'm not saying we're building a team around the centre-back champions of Europe, halfway lino. I'm just saying that there's something, that there's a talent there to, we got to play to our strengths, and that's what I think we're doing. This guy, Ian Grindrog, is saying this is the system that he would play with it, and I think this looks delicious on paper. Is it all still on the camera? It's all still on the screen, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Yeah. So Van der Ven back three with Romero and Danso, Polina in the 6, Simmons and Kulusevski as a sort of double 10 or double 8, whatever you want to think of it. Porro on the right, Udogie on the left, Kudus and Mwani. I mean, that would just, for me, that's the PSG sort of model, but for a full strength team. I think that just works. It works on so many levels. Udogie can do more of what he's good at. Porro can do more of what he's good at. Romero can step up. You don't even necessarily need to have Polina in some scenarios. You could play Bentancur there. You could play Bentancur alongside Kulu. You could play Bentancur alongside Sarr, because you have Romero that can step up against a weaker opposition. You could, or at home, you don't necessarily need a back three and Polina, but you could have a Bentancur in that scenario and let Romero step up and be able to spread the passes into the channels, into Porro, into Udogie, for example. And obviously, Micky van der Ven can do his bits down the side. He said it could work. I said it will work. But then there's all these other people that are saying, it doesn't matter if he can't cross or pass the ball. Not all teams leave space. Yeah, but we've seen that Micky van der Ven. We've seen that Micky van der Ven can cross the ball. We saw it against the United game. But these other people now are just saying like that they'd rather not. This guy's saying, let's destroy his hamstrings. He went on to say, what you're suggesting would put him out for months, so that's ruining his talent. I mean, I hear the risk, but I feel like this risk-averse approach to football is suddenly taking over Tottenham fans. I thought we were supposed to be a team that, has a crack. This guy Automatic saying, sounds a bit mad, but I'd rather not. Players with vulnerable hamstrings tend to have shorter careers at the top. I'd prefer to have him available for longer, maybe 80%, than having him 100% until he hits 27. I mean, felt fine, but it's like, I'm not suggesting we do this all day, every day. I'm not suggesting we work him like Gareth Bale. I'm just saying that we need to create a system in that it can be utilised. This guy Jeremy's saying when we get Vuskovic in the fold next season and a good left-sided centre-back, we've seen these injuries during the internationals, can't be risking BTB. I'm not saying we do it now. Rain Man, big up to you, Rain. I don't know if you're in the chat. You're usually in the chat. He says, no, we don't have Virgil van Dijk next to him. This guy's saying, amazed his hammies have held up to it twice a month. And Dean's saying we need another left-sided centre-back to have this as an option from time to time. I agree. I think people might have removed that. They might have deleted their comments or something, because there was a load of others that were basically calling me a donut for pretending like if that's the situation, if we're going to play it that way, then we're immediately going to have him out for 6 months or whatever. It might happen. It might happen this season. He might try it again and his hamstring pings. I get it. I do get it. But to sit there and say that you've got to talk, it's like having a gun, and if someone breaks into your house, you don't want to use the gun because you fear it might misfire. You'd rather just. I'm not suggesting that anyone should use a gun, by the way, but you understand the analogy. Maybe it would work better if I was in a stand your ground state in America. But you understand my point, right? Like, if you've got a weapon that's gonna be useful, and you're worried about if you use it, then it might not work, and then you end up might not having it in the future. Then never try. Like, what's the point of having the player? Because he's an okay defender. He's a good defender. He's good, but he certainly isn't a top draw defender. He's only top draw when it's because of his pace. But if we're not going to prepared to be utilizing his pace because of the fear of his pace being the catalyst for an injury, then I don't know what we're doing here. You know. Let's go back to the chat. See what the chat's saying. Hi, Sean. Did he not have to go back to the States to sort out his hammies? I don't remember. We should be going 3 at the back next 2 games. Well, certainly our strongest department is at the back, right? Certainly it is. I liked that kind of system that guy Ian put up. Moani and Kuda. I mean, Moani's obviously out injured now, so it's irrelevant. But something like that. Richie and Kudasevsky. I can't wait for Kudasevsky to come back. I think he's going to be a revelation in this type of football that the league is delivering right now. Let's shoot to the top of the chat, shall we? Rusty saying, Sean, who are you most looking forward to come? Yeah, Decky. I think Decky's going to be extraordinarily good in this system. Really do. Agree with his ability. Some rate higher than Romero for some reason. No, look, he's a fantastic defender, but everyone fell in love with him because of his unbelievable ability to get back and get out of trouble, which relies on his pace. If you're too scared to utilize his pace because it might end up getting injured, then you've got a Ferrari and you're driving it around the town centre. And what are we doing here? Get yourself on the autobahn. Let's see what it's capable of. You know? And yeah, you might end up over revving it. Yeah, you might do. But that's why you need depth. That's why Tottenham do need to get a left-sided centre-back to cover him of top draw level. That's why I'm looking for a Castello Lucaba. That's why I want a what was his name? Lautaro Rivero, the guy from River Plate. You know, he looks like Romero. Is it Lautaro? Yeah, it was. Yeah, Lautaro Rivero. Imagine we have Rivero on the left, Romero on the right. There's a song there, isn't there? There's a song there for sure. 100%. Just one Rivero, give it to me. We can work with that one for sure. Get old James Black on it. To dare is to do, says Ted from R&D. How you doing, Ted from Research and Development? Good to see you, my man. Is that what people call you in your line of work? Is it? It's Ted from R&D. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Van der Ven improved his running style. Hamstrings won't be an issue. Listen, I genuinely think that there'll be less of an issue when he's carrying the ball because you don't get to where you kick the ball dictates how fast you can sprint to the next bit. Obviously, if he smashes it into the gap and then he's, doing this thing, then maybe there's a little bit more. Maybe it's a little bit more to risk, but I don't know. I don't think so. What's happening, Geeko? He says Spurs fans are so flustered for not having Daniel as their hate target, so we turn on each other faster than ever before. It's crazy. Do you know what? Let's talk about that for a minute, right? We'll cut the Van der Ven talk for a second. Has anyone noticed? I don't know how much of the football kind of content community that you guys watch outside of Tottenham stuff, or whether you even just like certain people and not consider others or whatever. But I feel like in the last 2 or 3 weeks, everybody that participates in gotcha politics, right? Everybody is suddenly crying, like, leave me alone. And like feeling the effects of the comment section or whatever else. Like I've seen Igal. I love Igal. I think he's a sweetheart of a human being. He just rates his club. He backs his club. you know, but he's been on the receiving end of like vitriol because he's always backing his club and his club always end up screwing it up and bottling it. But next season he turns around and he's back on it and he still supports them. And I respect that, right? I respect it. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to back your team, back your club. Like, yes, have your opinions. I don't have that much time for the people who have worked out the grift, you know, the grift of like always leaning negative because you're more likely to be right by thinking that that failure will emerge if the line in the sand between success and failure is a trophy or, you know, a championship, like a title, a Champions League, whatever, whatever division of football your club is currently at. You know, if you want to be right, then always finding reason to criticize is the best way to be, because the statistics are very much in your favor that the most successful teams of all time fail more than they succeed in a world where a trophy is success and anything else is failure. You know, I don't know any of these people personally, so there's nothing personal about them. But like, you know, my take is that people that lean that way are grifting. You know, and then there's also always this attack on other people that feel differently. It's part of the game. You either can avoid it by just not talking about the fan side of things, like stop talking about other people's opinions, just worry about your own opinion. Generally speaking, I don't spend that much time talking about other fans' opinions. I think I tend to spend most of my time talking about Tottenham and my opinion because I'm more interested in my own opinion than I am in other people's. Maybe that's just an ego thing. Maybe I'm a raging narcissist. But I also don't care if people come after me. Like, it doesn't bother me, you know. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all, you know. I'm used to it. But I would have thought everyone else in this game would have been used to it. I see Egal putting out this thing. Then I see Never a Foul, my man Kaz putting out his thing about, you know, he's sort of fine-tuning and taking those clips of that guy, whatever his name is, Troops, I don't know, and his take on and all the shit that happened between Terry Flewers and Lee Gunner and how it gets spicy and it becomes like personal. And then I was just like, has something changed? Has something changed in the last few weeks? Even Sava, like I love Sava to pieces, right? You know, Sava's my boy. But, you know, he spends a lot of time right now being really fed up with the community, fed up being with the you know, I mean, again, I'm just going to say it, like, loving the pieces. But yesterday I heard him say, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I think he started a show saying, like, you know, when can we talk about football? But for the previous 3 weeks in this like month period that I'm discussing here, every day Sava's going on talking more about the fans and how they have got it wrong on Thomas Frank or whatever else. And I don't know, it just feels like everybody's suddenly super sensitive. Everybody suddenly has an issue. Maybe it's because it's International Week. Maybe it's because everyone's not making as much money as they were before because, you know, what content creators get paid from YouTube, not from super chats, but from the advertising revenue. All of that is way down, way down, right? So whatever you were earning in the summer, you're earning like, first of all, the views aren't there as much. And also what you're getting paid per view or whatever is also way down. So maybe everyone's a little bit stressed out that they can't pay their bills as easily as they could have done, or maybe I don't know. But it just feels like everybody is on a bit of a moan, you know. And I don't really understand it. You know, we all know what we got into, what we got into. You don't have to participate in the, you know, this, like, if you don't talk about other people, people probably won't talk about you that much. Maybe they will, but then that's free advertising. But if you just talk about your opinion on Tottenham and then don't expect everybody or any other content you're doing, I don't know. I feel like it's all a lot of victimhood going on right now. A lot of people feel like, and this isn't about Tottenham. This is about just the whole football thing. I'm seeing it everywhere. There's Liverpool fans that are doing it. There's Arsenal. There was two Arsenal fans that offered each other out for a fight. Essentially, one of them called the other one a CUNT. The other one went, you know, link me up, bro. I'll come smash you up, or whatever. I'm paraphrasing, but why? because you happen to see Arsenal in a different light. I don't know. I don't know. I think everybody's unhappy right now. I think everybody in life, not everybody, I think a lot of people though are just like feeling the squeeze. You know, if you live in England, you know, you go. I went to Tesco. I went to the hospital yesterday. Went to the hospital yesterday morning, and then after there's a big Tesco's in Ashford, across the road from Ashford Hospital. So I went in there and got like just a few bits, couple of like lunches, maybe I don't know, 3 or 4 days worth of food, 3 days worth of food, probably £100. I was like, what? I looked at I couldn't believe the prices that I didn't even notice, but like paying for things that just didn't justify it. And I'm thinking maybe that's it. Maybe everyone is just feeling super stretched. Everyone's feeling a little bit, they can't pay their bills, and all those worries, those anxieties kick in, and then they react to little things that last year didn't bother them, but this year it does. I don't know. What's the chat saying? I got some cool other stories to go through with you guys. To be honest, we got this the Premier League anchoring. You know, the thing I've been talking about, the FFP, the next iteration of FFP. Well, they're going to vote on that soon, and that's going to look a little bit odd if one of these rumours is out there that the PFA will start suing the clubs. Like madness. It's all just it's a control mechanism. Everyone wants theirs. Everybody wants to get as much as they can, and give a fuck about the consequences. Let's check out what the chat's saying, and then I've realised I've started this stream and I needed a wee, and I've already got to the point where I need to go for a wee. But before I jump, I'm just going to go and I'm going to see what the chat's saying about what I just said. Egal is delusional. No, well, listen, man, he's backing his team, and he's backed this team for 4 or 5 years. Big up. That's Nikos, isn't it? Big up, Nikos. He backs his team. I can't hate that. You know, I respect it more than I respect the people that profit off of always predicting Arsenal's failure because they want to be right. You know, like, it's a game. You have to remember when you're watching these people. There's a lot of things that are going on, right? There's a lot of people that are. You think it's just someone coming on giving their opinion. There's always something. There's an underlying current. You know, don't always take what people say on face value because there's always usually something else going on beneath the surface, trying to steer people in certain directions. People are smart. You know, people are clever with how they figure out. But most of it comes down to ego. Most of it comes down to whatever I was saying. I don't want to be wrong, so I'll downplay whatever. If there's a shift in the energy, if there's a shift in direction, if something's changed within that club, with that person's football club, and they were once over here, and now they're seeing that the wind is going in this direction, they'll either try and do a bait and switch and position themselves over here when no one notices, or they will pretend like what's happening over here is momentary, or they won't. There's very little honesty in people's opinions at times. It becomes much more about gamesmanship, trying to game the situation, game theory optimal, essentially. Anyway, let's see what's saying. Yeah, LV, be up to you. It says, yo, what you saying, Sean? Happy to make a stream live. Started a new job this week. Congratulations. What are you doing, bro? He said, we need to give the manager some time. We're still recovering from the Levy regime. See, maybe I'm guilty of this one. But in fact, I probably am guilty because I'll be honest, like what we're talking about, I definitely came into the community. I'm someone that's a contrarian anyway. I love a debate. I rate my own ability at being able to debate somebody more so than having just sort of general great opinions. I like to be able to kind of like, take on people. And when I came into the community 3 or 4 years ago, I saw everybody was anti-Levy, and I was like, "Oh, that's a very strong opinion for quite a mixed." Like it's people that are like, "No, this guy is a cancer, a parasite, all this stuff." I like, no one deserves those sorts of monikers, but I can basically debunk that. So I became the guy that was Levy, like the Levy representative, or whatever. Even though I never wanted to be, I always felt like I gave a fair crack. But certainly, I found myself at times defending when I would rather have been just middle ground and sort of without bias and be able to say, yeah, he's good there, but he's fucked up recently or whatever. But because you had these people that were coming at you going, you're Levy, then you end up getting defensive. And so since Levy's gone, I don't think we are recovering from the Levy regime, LV. I think that Daniel Levy I genuinely think he did a very good job. I think he took us as far as he could, 100%. Are the current owners trying to like masquerade as though they weren't responsible for that as well? 100%. That's why I'm not buying into this bullshit. Like Papa's got a brand new bag, all that stuff. The king is dead, long live the king. I don't buy it. Time will tell. But for sure, Levy going has allowed me to be able to now sit there and observe things without having the hangover of being attached to an opinion purely because of 3 years of debates and things. Like, he's gone now, so I'm free now to kind of like just position myself wherever I want to be on any given topic without being kind of attached to any particular opinion. And I wish I'd done that from the start. I really did. But now we are where we are. Like, I still disagree with you. I disagree with people that think that Daniel Levy was a horrendous owner. I think Daniel Levy took us to a wonderful position, but him and the owners weren't able to, didn't have the ambition to, whatever, to kick us on. And when we got to places of real opportunity, we also had other contextual things in the background, like the new stadium, the debt, all that stuff, that didn't make that kind of, back Pochettino, give him an extra 300 million quid. All that's if you had sovereign wealth sort of owners where money was irrelevant, then yeah, maybe. But I don't know if you can really criticize someone for not doing what the most reckless money earners in the world can do because they have limitless wealth. If they're not just like, if that's the kind of the stake in the sand and the stake in the ground, and everybody, that's the kind of beacon of what is a good owner, most people are going to come up short. So, but yeah, like I say, I feel freer now that I will still challenge people that make out like Daniel Levy was a horrendous owner. He certainly wasn't. And Enoch, they weren't horrendous. They made the most within their own ambition levels. I think they did very well. But obviously the game around us moved. The rules were never really enforceable. Too much money came in to too few hands, to too few clubs. And I'm still skeptical about what the Levy children, what their ambitions really extend to. I would be amazed if they actually have the ability to offer the levels of ambition that are required to be able to compete with the likes of, City and Newcastle. And even if they did, it would take, years of almost perfection to get there. But like I say, for now, for me, I'm in a position where I can just judge people on how I see it. And with people like Thomas Frank, I'm more than happy to give him time, more than happy to give him patience and recognize what he needs and what he doesn't have. But that doesn't mean that he can't do more with what he does have. And that's where I'm coming at. Also, mate, if you're talking about grift, you've got to talk about your boy Henry. I've always Henry knows I've always laughed at him, with him laughing back about his grift. He figured out a long time ago that that's part of the reason why probably Lee Gunner and him fell out, was because Lee figured out that his grift was to be an Arsenal fan that predicted failure, and Henry realised that being a Tottenham fan, bigging up Arsenal. There's nothing that a Tottenham fan would love to hear. If there was one, there isn't a content creator out there. But you have to remember that the Arsenal fan base online is probably as big or bigger than anyone else's, right? They gobble up the content. AFTV, League Gunner, like they gobble up. They all come at it from a different perspective. But imagine if Tottenham's fan base was as hungry and thirsty for content as Arsenal fans are. If there was an Arsenal fan out there that was sitting there every time Tottenham played well saying, Tottenham are fucking dangerous. Tottenham are scary. They are coming for us, and it's terrifying. Every one of you lot would be liking that content. You'd be gobbling it up, saying you're a real Arsenal fan. You get it. You see it. There's no bias with you. You're just a pure fan of football, and park your the Tottenham Arsenal thing. And this is what Henry does. He figured that shit out, and fair play to him, right? He's in the money making business. He wants to make money and he wants to grow. There's nothing better than listening to a rival fan telling you that you're awesome. So yeah, listen, Henry does have a grip, 100%. He knows. I've told him that. He knows that he's doing it. Whether he believes it or whether it's all part of a gimmick doesn't matter. But you go and look at the comments on his videos, and every single video, it's Arsenal fan after Arsenal fan telling him that he's a real one. Oh, cut out then. Every single one of them is telling him he's a real one because he's telling them what they want to hear. You know? But there's a consequence to that, isn't there? He's no longer in the Tottenham community, really. He doesn't really come on shows. And a lot of Tottenham fans think that they don't respect it. You know? If he's making 100 grand a year or whatever he's making out of doing a few 10-minute videos a day telling the world that Arsenal mean business or Liverpool are dangerous or scary, fair play to him. It is what it is. But if Lee Gunner and Henry fell out on some level because of that, I personally think that Lee needs to look in the mirror and realise that they both just have different versions of the same grift. That's my take. You know? And that's no disrespect to either of them, because I respect people grifting, grafting, whatever you want to call it, right? It is what it is. You can make your money. Make your money, bro. Big up to you, Matthew Breaker. Good to see you. How you doing, Pablo? I'm okay, my man. I'm okay. Got a few health issues, as always. Apparently, I've got to have an operation. I'm not sure I'm going to do it. Future's bright. Future's lily white. Big up to you. Afternoon, Shawnee. Afternoon, buddy. How you doing? You should debate Lee Gunner would be a whole bowl of nothingness. I was on a stream with him before, man. I couldn't get a word in edgeways. You know, I think it was me. I think it was on Lee. It was on Henry's channel. It was Lee, Sava, and myself, and Henry. And there's just 3 people in there that just want to be able to speak. And in the end, it was just like I just couldn't get a word in. So I'm going to drop off. There's no point in wasting my time here. But I wouldn't debate him. There's nothing really to debate, right? You know, he knows more about football than I will ever know. Like, he's got an unbelievable encyclopedia of knowledge about football from the 90s and the noughties and stuff. And my mind just, you know, I wasn't paying that close attention back then, and my memory isn't that great. But I feel like we just have a different approach to. Like, to me, I think that as a fan, being entertained is important, and his approach is it's all about winning. And if you don't win, then you're a loser. But I think that sort of extends to like some notion that you, by extension of your football club, are a winner if your team wins, or you're a loser if your team doesn't, or if you prioritize other things like being entertained as a thing, then that's a loser mindset. You know. But like I always say to you guys, like, for me personally, I think that you're not. It's not your trophy. You know, you're just an irrelevant observer of other people's successes and failures. So, you know, I don't. If you said to me right now, do you want to win the title every year, but like have the football that you're watching be absolutely unbearable, awful, like you score a goal in the first minute, and then for the rest of the game you're just putting 11 men behind the ball, 10 men behind the ball, whatever. No. I take it once. I do it once to lift the trophy once, but I'd celebrate it. But after that, no. It's not my trophy. I'm not. Like, the point of elite sports is to be successful for the people that are in elite sports. I'm not in elite sports. I'm just observing somebody else's successful failure, and I'm paying a lot of money for it. So entertain me in the process, or I won't. You know, or I'm not satisfied. That's just my take. But everyone's entitled to their own vibe. You know. Anyone else really fucking hate the international break? Yeah, 100%. Oh, let's not do that. Sava's a good guy. Love Sava. Sorry, I didn't see that before I put it up. If they all cost the same, who would you have? Rodrigo, Semenyo, Yildiz, or Lookman? I would have... on like a 4-year contract, I would have Rodrigo. Would I? Semenyo's done it. It's a great question. Semenyo's done it. You know what, guys? I'm going to come back. I'm busting for a week. Just bear with me 1 second. I'll be right back. Sorry, everybody. It would be out of the top 3. I think Lookman comes with quite a lot of risk. I'm a massive fan of Lookman. I really am. I rate him, but he comes with a lot. There's a lot of challenges there that I'm not close enough to the story to know whether it's, a real problem. Semenyo's done it in the Premier League, but he's not like a late bloomer, is he? He's still very young, but he's relatively a quick explosion. Yildiz, I think, is going to be an absolute talent, but not done it in the Premier League yet. And Rodrigo, for me, is a flair player. Like he's a sort of, if you sign Rodrigo, it's like one of those like, wow, you've signed an absolute monster. It's that kind of Rafael van der Vaart level stuff. It's a marquee signing. I probably would take. Well, I'd take any of them, to be honest, mate. But who would I have out of the? I think I'd be more excited about Rodrigo. I think. But I mean, Semenyo for me, I think is fantastic. I remember in the summer we were linked with a few different players, and everybody. I said Semenyo number 1. I said he's done so much work on his power, his ability to find the corner with absolute ferocity. And people were telling me that I forget who we were linked with instead. I forget who it was we were linked with, but people were saying that they wanted the other guy, and I was like, people were sleeping on Semenyo, and now everybody's on the Semenyo train. Arsenal fans can't stop talking about Tottenham. That would be fun. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Get him on the old on the rabbit hole stuff. Let's have a look. Let's get past the stuff about drama must pay well. Drama does pay well, mate. Yeah, look, everyone does reactions to reactions and stuff. I'm not interested in all that shit. That was Dan and Aaron. Was that on the Arsenal thing? Yeah, I saw that. I saw it this morning. I find it just odd. Like again, I think it's people. You have to remember, like the people. There's a lot of people that I know from Tottenham. A lot of people that I've met that come up to me and said, "Love your show," whatever, or think you're a donut, whatever. But it's all fun and games. And I talk to them, and their opinions about Tottenham are so well thought through, so valid, so insightful, and they're smart, intelligent, nice people. Really, kind of just cool conversations with strangers. One of the best things about this channel is when I go to Tottenham and someone comes up to me who I don't know and says, "Oh, like, hi, how you doing?" And then they want to have a conversation about a certain thing, and you just I would never have met that person if I hadn't done this channel, right? And so but then I say to them, "Do you want to come on? Like, you'd be great." And they're like, "Nah, I'm not interested in that. Like, I wouldn't be very good in front of the camera." And I think there's a thing that you can learn there, right? Like, I think that a lot of the people and I'm obviously on myself, I'm including myself in this. I think there's a hell of a lot of egos in the content space because we all think that we have. Where's my lemonade? Here we go. We all think that we have an opinion that's worth listening to, and we all are willing to put ourselves in front of a camera to say it. So there's probably a higher disposition, a disproportionately higher level of egos and narcissism in the people that are in the content space than in the people that are in, in the comment section, for example. £100. Well, that's a month. A lot of a month of food here. Well, I was only in Tesco's, mate. I was only in Tesco's. You know, I'd say probably like 40 quid of that was probably alcohol, but you know, it is what it is. It's people have in society in general, mate. People have less respect for one another. I think everyone's just stressed, man. Everyone's just stressed. If there was like, oh shit, there's so many comments. Let me get to the front of the comment queue. Expressions versus Lieber's mad. X always cooking people. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's like it is what it is, you know. But people want it, but I don't think it would go down as well on this channel. I was talking to someone. I forget who it was. I said, "What's the average age? Like, what's your demographic? Do you look at the analytics on your channel? What's the demographic?" And they were like, "I think Henry. I think it was Henry, maybe." And he said the average age for his content that's consumed, there's like 25% people that are 18 to 25%, or 40% or something that are 25 to 35, and then it just drops off quite quickly. Like my analytics are like, I don't know everyone that's watching, but the average person that's watching this, the average person is about 55 years old, 56, 57 years old. Loads of, like my content skews higher in age. So I'd imagine if I was to start getting into like he said, she said, you know, let's cook this person, all that stuff, I don't think it would resonate really with you lot as much as on average, as much as it does with the younger audience, because you know that's it's a younger thing, isn't it, to want to see people being cooked. Big up, Dave. Big up, Irish Hotspur. What's happening, David boy? Good to see you, mate. How you doing? Haven't seen you for a while. Haven't seen you, buddy. Big up, Ghosted. Big up to you. Sean is back. Yeah, I had a wee. A couple of weeks ago, you were more positive about Frank, Sean. What has changed? Let me just try a little something. Let me see if my man Dave has got 10 minutes. I don't want to take up a hell of a lot of his time, but let me just see if I can put it out there. Let me see if he can come on. I'd love to have a chat with Dave. We haven't done Devil's Advocate for so long. Devil's Advocate was my favourite stream of the week, when it was Johnny, myself, and the Irish. And then as soon as we started doing Football Inc., Johnny obviously is a busy guy, so he only has the time to do Football Inc. really. So he stopped coming on this channel for the most part, and then Devil's Advocate kind of just drifted away as well. Love to get Dave on. Dave, I've sent you the chat, mate. I've sent you the link. Come on if you can, just for a little bit. Yeah, I love Devil's Advocate as well, Ulrico. It was a fantastic show, wasn't it? It was absolutely sensational. I'm 43, says Patch. First time in a while I felt like a youngster. Yeah, the average age on this channel skews was super high. Ireland are playing now. It's a huge qualifier. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, we'll do something soon. Dave, to answer your question, what changed? Nothing's changed with Thomas Frank. I'm positive on him. I like the guy. I like the fact that he talks real shit. It doesn't seem like there's any agenda. For me personally, I'm just like, I listen, it's just me, and I've always been consistent on this. I think that playing good football is a major part of why I watch Tottenham. I know that everyone wants to see successful football that is also attractive, and that's like the holy grail. And it's difficult to do that because, you know, A, we don't have the squad. B, we don't have managers aren't given the patience and the time and all that stuff. But I just think that he sets up a certain way. I think he sets up not to lose, and I think he has Brentford settings on. And when I hear him, you know, say things like drawing 2-2 with Manchester United is a good result, I think we're paying far too much lip service to dusty teams like United. And I think that at home, away from home, the form is fantastic, and the performances I can tolerate because it's away from home and you've got to do what you've got to do. But at home, there is a responsibility to like, you know, to play football. And I don't think he does it. And I hear we've got 11 injuries. The biggest problem at Tottenham, by the way, is not the manager, it's not the owner, and it isn't our squad. The biggest problem at Tottenham Hotspur is our inability to keep our squad fit, and it's madness. Like, it's been going on for years. You know, it's been going on for years that half of our first team squad are always out injured at the same time. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't know what the hell is going on with that. All right, go and enjoy your game, mate. Go and enjoy your island. I'll be watching it. I'll put it on the background as well. Good luck to you lot. Is it a qualifier? Is it? It must be a qualifier. Danny Boy's here. Sometimes people got to accept that the other person has a different opinion. At least try to get the other person's opinion or accept it just different to yours. Sometime agree to disagree. Yeah, 100%. I think that's the thing, though. I think people, again, this is not about Tottenham stuff. This is just life in general right now. It's the same in politics. It's the same everywhere, right? You know, if everyone felt the same about everything, the world would be a really boring place. The world would be a really, really boring place. You know, appreciate diversity of opinions. Appreciate that, you know, that people see things through different lenses. People are coming at their situation with different experiences, different priorities, different time on the planet, different like financial situation. There's a every little ingredient is what makes you who you are. And by the way, that's another thing I'd say, just not to get too philosophical and stuff here. But if you're generally happy as a person right now, if you're generally happy, if you're not in a place where you resent your life, then you shouldn't have any regrets, because every decision that you've made, every thought that you've had, every take that you've gone down, every path that you've chosen, it's led you to the place that you're in. And so even the mistakes that you made along the way, had you not made them, then you might be on an entirely different path that might be better, it might be worse. So you shouldn't really have regrets. If you're really unhappy with your situation, then obviously do your best to change it. But you shouldn't have too many regrets in life if you're generally okay with where you're at, because every mistake and every good decision that you made has taken you to that place. Troy Parrott appreciation watch along. Who are Ireland playing today? Let's have a look. Who Ireland got? I've got this. I'm gonna round off. I'll do some. There's some interesting Ireland football. Who we got? Oh God, they're 1-0 down already. I'm half Irish, so I'm only laughing. I'm only laughing because it's typical. Big game for Ireland, and they're 1-0 down to Hungary. Fucking hell! Come on, the Ireland. Come on, you. Is it Boys in Green or Big Irish guys? So all I ever see is COYBIG. Big up to them. Big up to them. I want to pivot to some transfer news, views, and clues for you guys. There's a story out about, first of all, Wilson Odobert apparently is going to get a promotion to the French team for Didier Deschamps. My Wilson, Heisenberg, right? He's on the lookout. He's going to get a promotion to the French team just in time for the World Cup. Big stuff. Big stuff. Those of you that doubted my Wilson, I respect your opinion. That is the theme of the show. But my Wilson, Mr. Chemistry, he's Mr. Matchmaker, the spot taker. He is the geezer that is going to connect the dots. Spot on, Sean, and without incurring the hate of the Sava. Oh, that's not Sava. I'm not talking about Sava. I'm not talking about Sava at all. I love Sava to pieces. I know he's a bit stressed out right now and stuff. I love Sava to pieces. I hope he gets through the whatever, you know, he's coming across a little bit, you know, sort of stressed. He's really stressed out and not enjoying football and stuff, you know, not enjoying the streaming. So I hope he gets better soon. I hope he gets happier soon, whatever. But I'm not talking about Sava. I'm talking about just generally in life. You know, people just need to kind of like relax on forcing opinions. No, my lens is the only lens, and your lens is wrong unless it's the same lens as I have. It's silly, but I'm not talking about him. I love Sava to pieces. Love him to pieces. Rabbit hole ramblings tonight, Florence. I think so. Foxy's in the house. Big up to you, Foxy. What's crack-a-lacking? He says, never a doubt with Wilson. 100%, never a doubt, my man. That guy is going to be a baller. He is going to be a baller. My Wilson. Big up to you. Ulrika Johnson's in the house with a super sticker, a super chat. Big up to you. My love, get out of bed. It's late for you, mate. It's late for you. Go and have your G&T. Rodrigo would be a decent understudy to my Odebear. You know what? I actually think Odebear might end up as a 10. Genuinely think he could play a 10. Like he likes to connect the dots. He's someone that isn't selfish. He's selfless. He likes to bring other people in. He's someone that can move into good spots and just like lay it off. And I think that's the sort of role that he could play as a left that drifts. I think he could play as a 10. I'm not suggesting we put him in there right now, but if there was an injury to Xavi, for example, and we still didn't have Decky and we still didn't have, Maddison back, and then we did bring in a Rodrigo, I wouldn't hate the idea of Rodrigo off the left, Kudus off the right, Odebear in the 10 with, Ivan Toney in the 9. I'd be more than okay with that. I think Odebear is a very talented guy. Sean, when are you having the next rabbit hole ramblings? Well, I'm thinking about doing it tonight. I don't think that Nikos, who's in the chat, he's there. You are ready. You're around tonight, are you, Nick? Okay, we might do it tonight then. We might do it tonight. We were supposed to do it on Friday night, but then I had some health issues. I had to go to the hospital and stuff. So, yeah, he's back. He's back. There you go. All right, we're doing one then. We're doing one tonight. There you go. Next rabbit hole ramblings tonight, 9 p.m. probably, around 9 o'clock, something like that. So, yeah, please go and check it out, guys. You can see it down there. The rabbit hole ramblings on YouTube. It's fun. It's very much fun. What did I want to say? I wanted to show to you guys something. I wanted to show to you. So yeah, we got Mathys Tel. Oh, by the way, do you see Gabriel's injured? Gabriel is injured. Apparently, little bit of good news for Tottenham with regards to that game. Him and Quentin Timber, not Quentin Timber, the other one, Jurian Timber. Both of them might be injured. So they've still got depth. They've still got unbelievable depth. They can put Mascara in there, whatever. They could put the other guy, I forget his name. There's a few players they could play in there. So they've still got a great team. But, Gabriel's a massive threat from set pieces. Just saying, it's a little bit of a win, small win. Phil, I was with you on Tel from the start. Still has a lot to offer and a player with a lot to prove. I actually think Mathys Tel is gonna come through now for us. He has to. He's gonna have a little bit of time, right? We got two options in the 9. We've got Richalison now, who's horrendously inconsistent and just a pain for me, and Mathys Tel. I think Mathys Tel is gonna step up. He needs to improve on his all-round game. He definitely needs to catch up on the pace, and he needs to, but he needs a couple of more chances, and he's a little bit of patience. But I genuinely think that he is going to be a great player. Yeah, Mascara is an unbelievable player, unbelievable. So we were looking at him as well, and we let him go to Calafiori. That's it. Yeah. Did I see Vicario started ahead of Donnarumma for Italy? I didn't see that, James. I didn't see that. That's interesting. Very interesting. I don't believe. Sure, my man. Talk to me more about Rabbit Hole. What is it? Topics. I only follow your Spurs stuff. Let me get the link. It's a conspiracy channel, mate. Like we talk about. Conspiracy stuff. Like, let me get it for you. Here we go. There you go. That's the link. Smash the subscribe, guys, if you're interested. We talk about all sorts of conspiracies. Charlie Kirk. We talk about, basically everything. 9/11, whatever. We have good fun. It's my guilty pleasure. We don't force anything on anybody, but it's all just a bit of fun. Like, is the world the way that they say the world is? And we do it every Friday night, usually. We're trying to grow the channel. It's on about 450 subscribers or something. It's growing quite nicely. We've only done 5 episodes, but it's good fun. Everyone seems to like it. And, we're doing another show tonight. So Come over and join it. Dawn, is that channel on tonight? Love it. Right up my street. Yeah, it's on tonight. Yeah, 9. Well, it's literally just decided a minute ago. 9 p.m. Hopefully, or 8 p.m. 9 p.m. But I'll put the show. I'll speak to Nikos after the show, and we'll get into it. Everyone seems to love it. Everyone seems to love it. It's great fun. It's great fun. What did I want to say to you guys? I wanted to talk to you about. So we've done Will Snowdenbear being part of the French team. Mathys Tel is going to step up. We have this other story about Tottenham. Tottenham are interested in. Let me get this stream up for you guys. Let me show you this one. I might do this I might do these things in an up. You know what? Actually, to save time, going for an hour and a half. What I'm going to do is an hour and 10. What I'm going to do is I'll leave it there because there's a couple of super chats. There's a couple of super chats. There's a couple of good stories out there regarding Nicholas Raskin, the Rangers player, who is a really interesting player, decent midfielder, leans a little bit sort of defensive as well. Plays for Rangers. His value's just sort of jumping up. He plays. He's just joined. He's been playing in the Belgium team as well. His performances have been sensational, and he's been on Tottenham's radar for quite a while. So I'll do a video about him. There's also a young kid called Nathan Decat, and he's 17 years old. He plays for a Belgian team, Anderlecht. He's been a massive part of their story so far this season. A really interesting DM as well. He's 17 years old, but he's on the link, and he's in the zeitgeist. We also have more about Ivan Toney and a bit more about Semenyo and Rodrigo and the usual names. So I'll do that. What I'll do is I'll drop out of this now. I'll go and record and upload, and I'll upload that video. It should be with you guys by about 4 p.m. or something. So I'd love it if you guys could check that one out. But yeah, for now, might as well. It's 1-1. Come on, the island. Come on, the island. Let's go. Parrot scores. Parrot from the spot. Wowzers. Did we let go a good? Did we let him go? Did we screw up there? He's coming into his own, isn't he, old Troy Parrott? Fair play to him. Good luck to him as well. Doing very good bits. I just wonder whether Troy Parrott is going to end up being bigger than Evan Ferguson. Maybe we've got another one in Mason Melia, who apparently is joining us in a couple of months. So, don't you get a bad back from that chair, Sean? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm always leaning. I lean forward. I don't even sit like that's how far back it is. I just basically sit. Sit up. It's horrendous. Bad for my shoulders. Bad for my back. Bad for my posture. And bad for my reputation, because people always talk about the Elton John chair. Listen, I'll let you go and enjoy your Sunday, guys, but I'll be back with an upload in maybe an hour and a half or something. So please come and check that one out. It'll be all about transfer news, views, and clues. Really appreciate all of you stepping in and stopping by. And I'll also be on at 4:00 with Johnny on Football Inc. Please check that one out. And then I'll see you later on as well at 9:00 or somewhere around 9:00. I'll put a message out in the community chat, but you'll just check out Rabbit Hole Ramblings and you'll see us later on. Appreciate you guys. Love you as always. Bye.